Good morning, everyone. We'll be starting in a few minutes. Good morning, everyone. It's 2 minutes past the hour. Thank you for joining us on this exciting day for EMQN as we launch our 2026 catalog and our first ever event to actually share everything that's new and has changed in this new catalog with you. We will be running this session twice, so we can cover everyone from around the globe. Thank you for joining us, whether it's your morning, your afternoon, or your late nights. We appreciate the effort of joining us. And without further ado, I'll welcome my colleague, Victoria Williams. She's our scientific director, and she will address all the novelties and updates that we have prepared for you for this year's catalog launch. And I'm Stephen. I will walk you through the first and the last part of this presentation. There's a few housekeeping rules. This webinar is recorded, and a link of that recording will be shared with you and all participants later today. We have a questions and answers section at the end of our presentation. So please, during the presentation, you can type your questions in the chat window. And if all goes well, we will have time at the end to address them publicly. If we, for whatever reason, can't make our way through all the questions, we will answer them individually by email after the webinar. This webinar is scheduled to be 45 minutes. We'll do our uttermost best to keep it within that time frame. And we have a little something for you at the end of the webinar, so please stick around until the end because we are rewarding your presence here today with a unique launch promotion code that you can use for your EQA orders for this year. So without further ado, this is what we're going to walk you through today. A quick update on who we are and what we do. Some of you are new to EMQN. Others obviously are long-standing partners with us, but we're just going to go through that. We'll give you the updates on the 2026 registration timelines. So what has to be subscribed to and when. And then Vic will take over and she will walk you through everything that is new, as well as the updates we've made for the 2026 catalog. I'll wrap it up with some updates on the administrative process, some web catalog updates, and some updates on the pricing. And then we will open it up for the Q&A. So for those who don't know us and for those who do know us, this is us, EMQN. We are your world-leading external quality assessment provider. We make sure that we assess the quality and help you elevate the quality of what happens in your lab for the benefit of the patients that we serve. We are present around the globe in more than 90 countries every year. There is close to 20,000 schemes and cases that are reviewed every year, and there is close to 1,400 laboratories across the globe that participate in one or more EQA schemes. As part of our mission, we also want to educate our molecular diagnostics community We do that with the creation of best practice guidelines. We have educational webinars, and we start building our more case studies from labs that work with our EQAs. We recently redesigned our resources page on our website to make it easier for you to find the content that you need. So please, after the webinar, hop over to emqn.org/resources. You can find that in the top menu bar of our website, where you can find everything that has been published over the last couple of years. We have a broad portfolio of human molecular diagnostic EQAs. Some of you might be working in only one or two of these, but we thought it was useful to share you the broad coverage that we have. There's over 70 EQAs that are available in this year's catalog. So if you know us from only a section of that for the work that's been done in your lab, please do not hesitate to browse our catalog to see if there's other things that might help you improve the performance in your lab in sections where you currently do not collaborate with us. Our timelines for this year, they're fairly similar to last year, but we thought it was a good idea to put that in a very visual way. I'm not going to walk you through it. You can probably find the dates that are interested or of interest for you and your lab operations in here. As a general rule of thumb, you can see here on the left-hand side in the light teal, those are the registration timelines. And as every year, there is a large portion of our catalog that can be ordered until the end of February. And there is a shorter, smaller portion of our catalog, which is the biggest portion of our genomic inherited disorders schemes that have to be ordered before the end of November. And that is obviously because we dispatched them already in the beginning of the new year. So please be mindful of the timelines for the work that you do in your lab so that you do not miss out on the subscription for this year. It is hard, if not impossible, to line you up if you have missed the deadline, because we're on tight schedules to make sure that we can run our EQAs according to the plan. Our catalog is live. We have put our catalog live, and the team is ironing out the final cracks. But after this webinar, you can go online. We have built a brand new online catalog for you to browse. As you can see, there's an opportunity for you to browse by EQA type. It's a high-level filter, and then you get a view that basically looks like this, where you can search either by keywords, the technology or the sample type or the gene of interest. You can also put on a filter on the technologies that are compatible with those EQAs, as well as the sample types that you will be handling in those EQAs. From there, you get an overview of all the EQA schemes that match your filter criteria, after which you can either hit the more information button, which gives you all the nitty-gritty details of those particular EQA types, or you can immediately hit the by scheme button, which will bring you to the backend system that allows you to fill your basket and then place your purchase order on the back of that. For now, I will be handing over to Victoria Williams, our scientific director, who will walk you through everything that's new and the updates we have prepared for you. Vic, it's all yours.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm just going to run through what's new this year. So this year we have new pilot schemes for comprehensive genomic profiling. This is for solid tumours. We'll provide FFP tissue samples. It's a genotyping only EQA. It's designed to detect different types of variants, so small variants, delins, copy number variants, fusions, and tumor mutation burden amongst genomic signatures. We also have a new pilot EQA for skeletal dysplasias panel testing. This EQA has been designed with the European Reference Network for Rare Bone Diseases. We provide genomic DNA for this, It's a genotyping and interpretation EQA, so this is for clinical report submission. Both the CGP and the skeletal dysplasias pilot EQAs are limited participation. This year, participation is limited to 30 laboratories, and you need to, if you would like to participate in these EQAs, you need to apply using an expression of interest form. So if you go to our catalogue, you'll find a link to the form there if you would like to put your name forward to participate in those EQAs. We also have a point of care testing EQA, a new one this year for SIP2 C19. For the point of care testing EQAs, we provide patient-like artificial buccal swabs for use on point of care testing devices, such as the gene drive devices. And these are provided bi-monthly. We also have some updates to the way we deliver our EQA. So in 2026, we're providing more of our interpretive EQAs in different languages. So we've provided support for laboratories to provide EQA in different languages for several years, but we've made this more broadly available. So all our interpretive EQAs are now available in German, French, Italian, and Spanish, with the exception of some of the pilot EQAs. We've also been providing some virtual cases over the last few years, which have received positive feedback, and we're rolling these out more broadly this year. So most of our interpretive schemes will include one virtual case. We will still provide samples for all of our EQAs to assess the technical pipeline for interpretive schemes, but we've included more virtual cases, which helps reduce the testing burden and costs for participating laboratories. And it also helps us to include some rarer variants. And we're also rolling out, so last year we piloted having flexibility in the delivery of our EQAs, where the EQA can be tailored to the laboratory. And we're rolling this out more broadly this year. The idea is that we can tailor the EQA to laboratory needs. It also enables us to increase the scope of some of our EQA schemes, whilst continuing to offer targeted testing for laboratories. So for some of our EQAs, it's possible to participate in both targeted and panel testing, for example, for laboratories that are using different testing pathways. So it's possible to test your targeted Sanger pathway as well as your panel testing workflow. So last year we piloted these flexible options for the hereditary breast and ovarian cancer and hereditary hearing loss EQAs. This year you can now purchase both options, panel testing and targeted testing if required. We also ran this for our lung cancer EQA last year. The options are more streamlined this year. So there are options for testing for common biomarkers, EGFR, KRAS and BRAF, and there's also the option to add on new and emerging biomarkers this year, which includes EGFR variants, which are alternative EGFR variants, ERBB2, KRAS, TP53 and MET. So common biomarkers is mandatory and new and emerging biomarkers is optional to participate in. And new this year as well, so our breast cancer cfDNA testing in plasma EQA has an extension of scope to include AKT pathway genes. So in addition to testing ESR1, laboratories can include PIK3CA testing if it's within the scope of their test. So we've aimed to make the process more easier for ordering. So rather than going through the catalogue to look for the option that you wish to participate in, what you do now is you find the EQA, you add to basket, and this comes up with a screen with options. So here you'll be able to select, for this example, for hereditary hearing loss, if you want to participate in panel testing, if you want to participate in targeted testing, or both. And for schemes where we have additional samples for purchase, you'll also be able to purchase the additional samples on this screen. So I just wanted to go through some of the changes to the schemes for laboratories that have participated in them previously. So for cardiac disorders, we've previously had 2 EQAs, one for laboratories doing arrhythmia panel testing and for laboratories doing hypertrophic cardiomyopathy testing. This is now 1 EQA called cardiac disorders. So laboratories can participate in one comprehensive panel, which enables us to include other rarer genetic cardiac disorders within the scope. You can still participate in arrhythmia panel only and hypertrophic cardiomyopathy panels as well, if that's your workflow. So for many years, we've had a scheme for autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease for ADPKD. Over recent years, this has included an optional sample for panel testing. This year, we have 1 EQA for hereditary cystic kidney disease. So the scheme name has changed. And within this, you can now select to participate in ADPKD targeted testing for PKD1 and PKD2 testing, or to participate in the ADPKD targeted testing and panel testing, whichever suits your laboratory needs. We've also had a pilot EQA for the last couple of years for rare neuromuscular disease gene panel. We've now merged this in with our Duchenne and Becker muscular dystrophy disorders. So there is 1 EQA now for neuromuscular disorders, in which you can select to participate in the DMD, BMD targeted testing only, to do panel testing and the DMD, BMD testing, or to participate in the panel testing only. We've also had a targeted testing EQA for Charcot-Marie tooth disease and hereditary neuropathy with liability for pressure palsies, CMT-HMPP, for several years. In recent years, this has included an optional gene panel testing for other CMT-associated gene sample. This year, the name is similar, but you'll be able to select options. So if you want to participate in CMT, HMP testing with panel testing, or if you want to participate in targeted testing only. We have increased the scope of our multiple endocrine neoplasia at type 2, MEN2 EQA. So in addition to the targeted testing, there is now an option for panel testing. So when you select the scheme, you can choose the option for targeted RET testing or panel testing, which includes other genes such as VHL, MEN1, and other genes. You'll be able to find more information on the catalogue page. And we've also increased the scope of our von Hippel-Lindau syndrome, VHL EQA. So again, this now has options for targeted and panel testing. So panel testing includes other genes such as BAP1, P10, other genes. Again, if you have a look at our catalogue page, it will give you more information about the scope of this EQA. But if you do targeted testing only, you can still continue to do so. Okay, that's it from me. So I'll hand back to Stephen.
All right. Thank you, Vic. Thank you so much. I hope that everyone on the call appreciates the novelties that we've included, many of those driven from the feedback we get from you as participants in our EQA schemes over previous years, as well as the extension to scope or the changes in offering more option possibilities that also came from the feedback we got from you over the years. On one hand, that you need that flexibility, but that you also want to have the opportunity to grow the workflow in the pipeline that you have set up in your lab for your patients. So I hope you appreciate the efforts that went into this. As Vic went through this seems potentially trivial, but it's absolutely not. It's a teamwork effort from many of our EMQN team members together with our collaborators in the field to make this happen. So thank you, Vic, for you and the entire team for pulling that through and making that available for our customers for this year's enrollment cycle. As we go through the final section of the presentation, please let us know if there's anything that you want us to address specifically that hasn't been covered so far by typing your question in the chat, and we'll take that at the end in the Q&A session. So for wrapping this up, I'll give you some updates first of all, and you might have seen it on the slides that Vic has presented already. We want to make sure that it becomes easier to identify your products and the EQAs that you need in your lab year on year, especially if sometimes due to the change of scope, we are forced to change the name of some of our products. We have now introduced a more formal way of identifying our products to the use of individual codes. You see them being listed in our catalog on these slides. They always consist of a number representing the catalog category, then a unique identifier for the product, and then there is the year. So this year, all products will have a 26 ending number, so you can easily identify the products that you need, especially for those who participated previously in a scheme that now has changed name or scope. If you're in that position, you will be receiving throughout the week an individual email confirming the changes from your previous EQA participation into your new EQA participation, so there is no confusion on what is the new name of the product you've been using in the past. You will see us use those codes more frequently. Feel free to include them in any communication with our teams. That makes it easier for everyone to, without any confusion, refer to the exact same EQA scheme. We have, as we had in previous years, a discount structure that I just want to reinforce for those not familiar with that. So any lab that is ordering over 10 EQAs will be granted automatically upon checkout a 10% overall discount in the shopping basket. Should there be any other discounts that you benefit from, they will be incremental to this volume-based discounts. With that, we want to thank you and honor those labs with large testing facilities and help you work out the finances of participating in the EQA schemes on a yearly basis. Something that we introduced that is new to us and that also help you, especially if you're on this launch webinar today, is that many of our products this year benefit from an early bird pricing. You see on the right-hand side on the screenshot from our online catalog, the clear indication early bird. That means that there is a reduced price over the standard or the late price if you order your EQA within the first months of the registration period. We will be going into the regular or the late price for the last 4 weeks of the registration period. That means for all schemes closing their registration in November, the early bird discount will end at the end of October. For all schemes closing at the end of February, we will be ending the early bird discount at the end of January. So please take this as an opportunity to save on your lab's budget and start your enrollment process as soon as you can after this webinar, so that you can actually benefit from the most preferential pricing that you can get for the schemes that you need for this year's EQA cycle. As I said in the beginning of this webinar, we also want to thank your loyalty and rewarding your time to spend with us today. We have created an opportunity for you to benefit from an additional 10% discount over your shopping basket. For everyone who's on this call, there will be a promo code emailed to you. That code will be valid for 2 weeks. So up until the end of September 30th, you will be able to benefit from an additional 10% upon your order when you enter that promo code. That precise and unique promo code will be in your mailbox later today. It is individual, so it works for you, and it can be used only once. So, but it does allow you to benefit from that additional discount upon quick processing of your shopping basket. With that, I think we are at the end of the content that we wanted to share. It leaves us time for a bit of Q&A questions. So wrapping it up, we have put our catalog live, so you can browse the new online catalog, and you can furthermore move into our backend system to fill your shopping baskets, apply your discounts, and check out when ready. So please do go through the online catalog. As I suggested previously, there might be EQAs in our offering that you're not familiar with. That's now easier to find based on what you run as a routine in your lab. You will be receiving your promo codes after this webinar, so you can use that upon checkout. And do keep in mind that prices are preferential for you for the first 2 months of the registration period. So by acting now and lining up your EQA schemes, you can benefit from that early bird pricing. So please take advantage of that and save a bit of money on the overall testing budget that you need. And with that, that gives us some time to go into Q&A. For your reference, I've listed our contact details, should that be useful for any questions around your pricing and how these structures work. You find a specific email address for the commercial team there on top. You can reach Vic and the scientific program managers through our office at emqn.org email address. That same one will be triaging all of the administrative and logistics related questions throughout the EQA cycle. And we've put for your reference the links to the catalog as well as our QA manager, so the backend system, to finalize your order and then follow the rest of the EQA process. With that, we've come to the end of the full content, and I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and have a look at the questions that might have been submitted in the chat.
I can see we've had a couple of questions about registration for the new pilot schemes. So these are closed. You can't buy those through the website as you would for a normal scheme because registration is limited. So for those schemes, you need to just complete the expression of interest form. You can find the link in the catalogue page under participant information. So for these EQAs, we'll be selecting laboratories to participate. So even if you submit the form, you might not get a place on the EQA because we're testing the EQA design, and we'll try and include laboratories using a breadth of methods and scope of testing. But we'll accommodate as many people as possible. So if you complete the expression of interest form, if your laboratory is selected, we will let you know and we will register your laboratory on your behalf. So at the end of the form, there are some declarations to say if you're selected, you will participate in the EQA and you have permission to pay for the fees displayed in the catalogue.
Right.
Okay, if you have any questions, you can just contact us on office@emqn.org.
Perfect, thank you, Vic. In the meantime, there's a question that came in whether the early bird pricing, the volume discount, and the discount related to attending this webinar can be combined. The answer to that is yes. Obviously, the early bird discount runs a certain period. The volume discount for ordering more than 10, that will run the entire registration time. And then, as just mentioned, the discount that we'll be sharing on the back of this webinar is only valid for those first 2 weeks. So if you manage to conclude everything within those first 2 weeks, you can add those definitely. We want to reward your loyalty, and we want to reward the fact that we know that for some labs with large testing schemes, this is a financial challenge to get that through. So yes, please benefit from the maximum opportunity to make this as affordable as possible. I see a question of someone mixing two orders, so getting a bulk discount when you order a bit now in or place your order in several bits. It might be that our system struggles detecting how much you have ordered already. Should that be the case, please reach out to us and we can probably manually correct. Easiest way for everyone is to bundle your entire order in one go, and then the system will automatically detect that you ordered more than 10. But if you struggle somewhere or the system isn't kind on you, please come to us and we will work with you. There is a question on the cost of the cardiac panel testing, the all disorders. Vic, is that something you have at hand you can quickly answer? Or is that something that we need to follow up over email?
So yeah, so just to clarify on that, so you can pay to participate in cardiac arrhythmia alone, if that's what you've done previously and you want to continue doing. You can pay to participate in cardiac hypertrophic cardiomyopathy alone. So the price will be consistent. I think it's £449 for the early bird price for those. But if you, and you can participate in both of those independently, but if you choose, you can participate in the cardiac panel testing for all cardiac disorders. This has a slightly higher cost than the two separate ones because this includes more cases. But when you log into the EMQN website and add it to the basket, you'll be able to see the pricing for those options separately. Hopefully that answers the question. If not, we can follow up offline.
Thank you, Vic. There is a question on whether there is any training planned for HGVS nomenclature.
So not currently this year, but it's something that we would like to do in future. It's a good suggestion, thank you.
Trying to see if there's any other questions that we haven't addressed that are still coming in. If not, as always, using the contact details that are on the slide currently still displayed, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. I see one more question come in. If there is an overview of the EMQN tests in a more visual way on our page, yes, there is. We have recognized the fact that it was hard to get that overview. So if you head over to emqn.org/catalog, you will very visually see for each of the catalog sections what is there. It makes it much more easy to find what you need. So hopefully that helps you to find your way. We do have more than 70 EQAs. That makes it hard for us to find a good visual representation of it, but our new catalog helps you to navigate that hopefully in a much better way. The PDF version of our catalog that will be available for download later today will also have sections or chapters per disease area. So that allows you to find hopefully quickly what you're looking for and match that with the testing logic in your lab.
I can see there's a couple of questions about ordering. So you can place an order without a PO and provide the PO at a later date. And just a reminder to make sure that you fully check out when ordering schemes. to make sure that it's registered for your account. There's a question, do we provide EQA specifically designed for long read sequencing? So we have NGS technical schemes for somatic and germline and the CMV detection. We don't currently have one specifically designed for long read sequencing. We can follow up with that with you.
I can see a question on accounts that have multiple labs that need separate registration and therefore do not qualify for the volume discount. Feel free to send us an email with some details, and we're happy to look into the opportunities and see what can and cannot be arranged. I think with that, we should have answered everything. I thank you for spending the time with us this morning, afternoon, or whatever time zone you're currently in. We appreciate the time. We look forward seeing your registrations come through. And as always, very thankful for the value you put in improving the diagnostics of the patients that we all serve. With that, thank you and hope to speak to you soon.